Greetings everyone, this is Gannicus and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna work on our very own top lane matchup tier list. Gonna keep it simple, so extra hard, even, easy, and free matchups for Shen only. I'll try to restrain myself from picking too many champions that can also be played like on mid or bot lane, but I'll try to talk about some of them. So let's get started. So the first one I'm gonna start is Aatrox. I'm gonna say that Aatrox is even. The reason he used to be, and he is kind of considered a Shen kind of counter because his your W doesn't do much except block and his passive heal, passive bonus damage. But and he has like a really good poke distance. Yes, CC. He can basically combo really hard and out sustain you. But the problem is his cooldowns are really long early game, and he can abuse that. He can sidestep in and out of his abilities, his skills, bait it, and then once he uses it, you can basically trade with him and get a couple kills, especially if you get ignite. So I don't think he's much of a problem till he's level 6. Darius, I would say Darius is also even. This is one is gonna be a little bit controversial because I know a lot of Shen players permaban him or struggle, but trust me, if you treat Darius as a ranged matchup, you're gonna have a lot of success with. I would say he's not even that bad, like compared to some other juggernauts. Basically, what I do, I just walk up to him when I have key barrier or W up, and he's instantly pop it, and then I just hit him back and back away. CS, back away. Always save your E to disengage to avoid getting pulled. So just make sure you don't E while he's pulling, otherwise he can run you down. Don't use your E aggressively. He's full HP because he's gonna kill you. It's preferable that you dodge his Q, and then you're gonna be able to kill him. If you just hit him hard enough, long enough, you're always gonna win those trades as long as you're using your W and your key bearer properly. Then you can just go in for a kill. Honestly, that's pretty much it. Action. I'm gonna put hard, and this is what I'm gonna say here. It's probably true to almost every ranged matchup. Range matchups, you have to give up basically your first couple levels. You're just gonna stay in range for experience. That's more important. Only CS if you have like key barrier, but even then, sometimes may not be worth. Like just let him push the first 3 levels, get healthy. Because when you get level 3, you can go all in. Maybe even get a taunt under turret, and then you can maybe trade back and maybe even kill them. That's pretty much like what you do against range matchups, and then you can go like plated steel caps or some armor. That usually helps. Camille, Camille is easy. Shen's kit pretty much counters Camille. Her W, she usually starts with W, and she heals based on damage she does. And you can use key barrier to block some of the damage, so she heals less. Can you just pull the Q to you and get your key barrier. Your W blocks her empowered Q, especially the second Q, which you can see glowing and makes a little weird noise and blocks the true damage. And after that, you should just out damage her. It's gonna become a little problem like a lot of the other champions when they get Divine Thunder, but as long as you have like Brumble and some armor, she's not even much of an issue even after level 6 if you manage to get a lead early. Cho'Gath, it's just easy. It's just easy, guys. Like it's easy to dodge his Q, his knock up, his empowered auto attacks. You can space out of it, and if you just like glue to him, he always gonna be able to out damage. And Shen does really well into tanks because Shen Q does percentage magic HP, and it's really good. Mundo, I'll put easy as well, but I would say he's a little harder than Cho'Gath. I think he's level 6 a little stronger because he regens a lot. But I think as long as you have Ignite, you can still fight him after 6. And then once you get like some resistance, he can't really fight you that well, especially if you're going to build like Heart Steel and you scale as well. His cleave does not percentage max HP, but percent HP. So the lower HP you have, the less damage his cleave does, while your Q is always gonna do consistent damage. So odds are you might probably win even if you just face tank him as long as you're getting the power kills. But it's better to just like try to sidestep his cleaver and use the minions to protect you against it. Let's see what we have next, and we're gonna go for Fiora. Fiora is even. I would say she's easier than I would say Darius. It's a really fun matchup. I'd say like kind of skill matchup, but I think early it's slightly in favor of Shen. She can poke you, but you can use your W to block her vitals. Your W is also really good to use when she uses her E because her second strike applies crit damage and really hurts. But one thing about Fiora is anytime she comes for that poke, hit her back. Hit her back because when you pop like your key barrier, you're gonna mitigate some of the damage and she's gonna get a hit and she's gonna also take the minion aggro. And that's where it's her strength. And then you can just go for all wins. You have to do some mind games with her parry. Make sure you don't make it too obvious when you're taunting so you can um, get the CC and hit her really hard. Also avoid getting hit by her slow because she also slows her attack speed. And if she ults later, you can just hug a wall or run away. Basically, just don't try to fight. She eventually outscales you, but you should be able to get at least a couple kills, maybe early in lane, or even at least and like keep it even. In team fights, you're always gonna be more useful than her, so that's not much of a problem. I would say I put Cassiopea here, and she's not a very common pick, but she's mage, and sometimes she's picked top. And I would say, man, I don't know if it just suck playing against Cassiopeia, but she's hard. She's very hard to me. Um, I think I think it's her E, but not her E, her W. I think you can use your taunt. It's really annoying. She does percentage P. She stacks conquer really fast, and she's attacks really fast. She has a really good range, and I think she's really hard to kill, really hard to deal with. And if you don't get jungle help, I feel like it's almost doomed. They have to play really sloppy to lose. I feel like GP. I put like honestly, I gotta put extra hard. I wanted to put hard because early game you can get some kills. You can use your key barrier to block his poke, his your W to block his pokes. You know, like you can like or block his trial by fire, passive auto attack. But he scales really hard, and he has a lot of wave clearing. He also has a global ultimate to match yours, and his gold passive he gets like the more gold than killing minions. With his wave clearing, he gets items a lot faster than you, even if you're winning lane. And the way he scales, I feel like in team fights later, he can just like explode your teammates or he still hit you like for 1,000 crit barrels, even if you're like have a lot of armor, like random moments, this kind of stuff. And I just don't like dealing with it. I feel like it's not fun when you're beating a champion that he scales really hard, and because of his pass, he still comes back to lane with an item before you. You know, like I just don't like dealing with him. I'm kind of glad they kind of nerf him. But like I said, if you play around, if you respect his trial by fire, just watch when he uses a minion, use that opportunity to fight him. Try to deny his barrels, and odds are you maybe at least win lane. What are you gonna say here? Illaoi also gonna put extra hard here, and might get some hate, especially from some high elo Shen players, and I get it. I know how to fight Illaoi, you know, like dodge her E, she's really weak early. You can pressure your power kills. You should be able to get a bunch of kills and maybe build up a lead early. However, problem is, I feel like from experience that only works if the enemy jungle doesn't care. If the enemy jungle knows of the Illaoi potential in the Shen matchup and he camps and helps her, I feel like top is just doomed. And the reason why is because if you don't get to kill her early, she's gonna be able to push you under your turret. And once you're in the position that you're under your turret, she's like gonna spawn all her tentacles, you know, like and she waves clear and now you're losing minions to the tower, you're losing plates, and you're like she's gonna land IE here and there, and then you have to walk away. And now it's just doomed. They start like falling off, you start getting really behind in gold, and you start having to ult your teammates to build a lead elsewhere, and then now suddenly she's really like she's 0 and 4, but suddenly she's like super rich because she's taking tower plays in CS. And then in team fight, a lot of times people don't know how to dodge her E, and they just go in and she kills everybody. I just don't. I think she's just obnoxious. Like there is it's easy to deal with her alone, but because of her kit, her wave clearing is insane. You know, like she gets some jungle help. Her teammates don't know how to play. I rather like she's my ban right now. I just think it's obnoxious, honestly. Let's go, Garen. Garen is free. I would say I think he's easier than I think he's easier even easier than Cho'Gath, honestly. No, no. no, because I guess he has more kill pressure. I'll put him like here. Yeah, I think he's the weakest of the juggernauts. Because like your E, when you pull you can block a lot of damage from his spin, and or you can E out or in through him and avoid a lot of the damage from his spin. Your W also blocks the damage from his empowered Q while also blocking the silence. And if you hit him back, you're just always gonna like out damage him. Just make sure you're always hitting him so he doesn't get to heal from his passive, and you should be able to kill him. Later on, he's gonna get annoying if he plays well. He can just run, but he's as long as you don't die, like you respect his ultimate, don't try to fight him when he's level 6 and you're like 50% HP, you know, like he'll be able to ignite and combo you, flash Q, and R you. As long as you don't make this mistake, you should never die to a Garen. You should actually get some kills, and once you get some armor, he's never gonna be like a threat to you. Um, Gwen, I I think I'll put Gwen on hard. She's easy pre 6. She's easier than like Fiora pre 6, I would say. She's really easy to deal with, but she also has a really good wave clear, and I think she scales much harder than Fiora, for example. She also does percent HP and she also does true damage. However, your W is not as useful in this matchup as it is like against Fiora, for example. With her ultimate, it like she can kill really easy and she scales really easy and she heals a lot too. And but to win lane, you can get like some kills early, and hopefully you can snowball, and you have to sidestep a lot, avoid the true damage when she gets the stacks. Her auto attacks does like percentage damage, which your W can help, but like I said, I think she scales really hard, and I just don't like dealing with Gwen like after lane phase. If she gets like be able to get some kills in team fights or free farm, she can become a problem. So maybe I just don't haven't lane enough, but I know how to deal with her. I think I won a lot more games, but every game I felt like it was a pain. Some games I felt like she almost won because she farmed. But anyways, Gnar, I'll put Gnar on hard as well, but I don't think I think he's a little harder than her. I'll put her here because I think she's easier than Akshan as well. Gnar, he's hard, but I would say I'll actually put him in here because I think he's a kind of range matchup, and he's just annoying. But as long as you're like respecting and keep yourself some space and dodge his Q and use your key barrier and to farm, you should be fine, you know. Like, and when it becomes Meganar, he kind of stats check you, but if you wait until the Meganar bar, it's almost like getting back to Millionaire, you can taunt and trade with him, so he's not gonna be able to run away when he becomes the Millionaire, and you can try to get a kill or so. But this is one of the few lanes that I like to take TP. I almost always take Ignite, but this is one of the few lanes I take TP because I feel like if he plays really well, you're not never gonna be able to kill him. But if you plays well, he's never gonna be able to kill you. So you might as well take TP in this game, I think. Gragas, I think it's a skill matchup. I think he's I would say he's easier than Darius, I think. A little easier than Fiora, I guess. It's a lot of mind game, a lot of spacing. Like whoever has better spacing, you know, mind games, you know, baiting abilities wins. I think his body slam can interrupt your taunt, but you can space out of it, so you can all win. Your W also blocks his empowered auto attack when he uses his heal, but he can also interrupt your ultimate. So whenever you're ulting against a Gragas, make sure you go as far as possible so it doesn't interrupt you, and you should be able to get some kills if you have Ignite. But then like he just heals a lot, and but as long as you get some MR, he's not a much of a problem. Um, what are we gonna go next? Irelia. Irelia is just easy, I would say. I would say she's a little harder than Camille because she can create some momentum by getting a bunch of stacks and clear the wave really fast, and she heals a little bit from the wave. She can kills you, but you can position your blade right next to a mini. She's gonna kill too, so you get in power kill and it hits her hard. Your dab is really useful in this matchup. Just make sure you possible sidestep her stun, and usually you would be able to win. When she gets Bork, she can become a little bit problem, but once you get like just get some armor, she's not gonna be too much of a big deal. Should be able to get some kills early. And Jax is easy as well. I would say is easier than Irelia. Your kit, and I think he's easier than Camille as well. Like his Jax scales really hard, but his your kit, Shen's kit, really counters really hard Jax early. Your W is really useful in this matchup. You can block his W damage, your his R, his level 6 passive damage, and your E, if he turns the counter strike, you can walk up to him and E out while it taunted him. So he cannot leap. He doesn't have range to stun you, but he also cannot leap to you. So, and then after that, you hit him with your empowered kills, and it should just rinse repeat and should be able to kill him. And once he gets level 6, you kind of have to respect that a little bit. Just like disengage when he ults. You can make sure you have some space to run to your tower, to your minions, or have E to disengage, E out, and it shouldn't be much of a problem. Once you, if you get some armor early, even a little bit of MR is useful. Just respect his level 1. Counter Strike is gonna win, so make sure you have key barrier to block some of the damage if you manage to get the stun range on you. And KO, I would say, is also easy. I would say easier than Jax. Um, Her level 1 can be threatening because she usually goes little tempo, so you have to respect that. But after level 1, you're just gonna out damage her really hard. You know, like she's gonna take a long time to be useful. She scales really hard, you know, so you gotta be mindful of that. So make sure you get like 2 or 3 kills in lane, deny her CS and experience if you can, and then it starts like applying pressure to her teammates before she can, you know, outscale. Malphite, it's just free. I would say it's easier than. I think it's easier than Garen. You can use your keybear to block his poke, your W to block his auto attacks, and I think it's the thunderclap or whatever. And you can basically just out damage him pretty hard. You know, like he's a tank. He's gonna take a lot of punishment from Shen. And in team fight, I think the only thing he has in team fight is his ultimate, and your whole kit I think is more useful than his in team fight. Jayce is actually hard, I would say, but I think he's harder than Akshan. And the thing is, he has a lot of poke, he has a lot of damage, but his melee range is actually pretty tanky, and he does a lot of damage now with the recent changes. So you gotta build some armor, and you gotta do some good spacing. And same thing, treat his as a user W to block his W and in ranged form. And you can also look for some all wins when you get the 3 skills, as long as you're healthy, and try to trade and disengage, rinse repeat, maybe get a kill. This is a lane that sometimes I take TP, sometimes. Let's go next. Kennen, I think Kennen is pretty easy. I'll rank him like here. I think he's actually like here, and he doesn't do a lot of damage. He's not like, if you keep your spacing, respecting his range, later when you get level 3, it's really not much of an issue. He doesn't do that much damage. You get a Merc's boots and you just like can do nothing for it after that. There's even not much specifics on the matchup. Let's see. Nasus is easy. It's probably the easiest of the lanes, I think. It's just free. You should never let this guy get any CS, any stack like in lane phase. You can just walk up to him and auto and kill him. Just respect medium damage, of course. You can use your key bearer if he goes E, like to try to poke you out of lane. And just all in and kill him, maybe even look for dives, you know, like it should take a long time to even be able to scale. He's like a Walmart kill in that sense. Let's see what we have next. Maokai, I would say Maokai is pretty easy as well. I'll put him like here. Same principle. He's a tank. If you go all in, he just wins. You know, like he has like disengage, so he can interrupt your E. So be mindful of that with his knockback. He can root you and avoid like taking the poke from the bush when he throws the saplings there. Make sure you have key bear if you choose to fight, and you should be able to win, especially if you have ignite. No big deal. And let's see what do you have next. Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser, I would say it's even. I think he's harder than Darius, in my opinion. I think he's actually harder than Darius. Um, Actually, let me move this. I think Aatrox a little harder than Gragas. But anyways, Mordekaiser level the first 2 levels, 3 levels. You're way stronger than him, like you just level 1. You're much stronger. You can even try to look for a cheese and get him power kills and hurt him really hard or even kill him. you can sidestep and bait, lose say spacing for his E and his Q. And when he pops his W, you don't have to auto him. Just if you have an empower Q there, you just wait for him to use it. Just walk away, like try to kite a little bit and wait for it to go away, and you can just auto him after his W expired or he used it, and then you can ignite and kill him. When he gets level 6, he can change. He steals a lot of stats. If you don't have some MR, he can be threatful. But with Heart Steal, it's just fine. Just make sure you get like if it becomes a problem, like when it gets level 6, just make sure you're choosing where he ults you, like near your tower, near the alcove, like a place where you can use a wall to taunt through the wall, kite away, like so it's not of much of a problem. And Olaf is actually extra hard, and I think he's harder than Illaoi. Actually, I think GP is harder than Illaoi as well. Olaf is I put in actually yeah I put him extra hard because I believe he's one of the hardest Shen counters, but I actually think he's actually even easier to deal than GP. And the thing is, I think a lot of Shen mistakes in this matchup is try to fight him early game. His level 1 is extremely deadly. He's like he can just run you down. His skill applies low, does a lot of damage, armor shreds, which makes his auto attacks stronger, and he can just run you down. So what I do, I treated the first level 2 as a ranged matchup. I just give up CS, just stay in range for experience, wait for my level 3, and then I go all in. I just go for all wins there when he's next to my tower. As long as we're both level 3, we're always going to win because now you have W, you have key barrier, block some of his through damage, your W blocks a lot of his auto attack, and you can like rings repeat, just disengage short trades, and then eventually can kill. Once he gets level 6, he can become stronger and he gets some life steal, and it's gonna become a problem depending on how you itemize. But at that point, it shouldn't be your job to beat him. Yeah, you can just play for team fights. But early, just make sure you respect his first 2 levels. You do that, promise you're not gonna int this lane. It's not gonna be that scary lane anymore. Um, what do we go next? Lillia. I would say Lillia is actually hard, but I would say like I guess she's kind of even with Jayce. She's kind of annoying. She does true damage, percentage HP damage. She has some CC. She has a lot of range, and she has a lot of movement speed. So you just can't be baited by when she gets the movement speed. She's gonna be just space in and out of you and beat the crap of you. So you have to respect. Place your blade, slow her, auto her, dodge her little boink thing, and time your E really well to E into her when she tries to kill you early, and then you when you're level 3 or above, and then you can win the trades. But if you miss your E, that's a problem. And if you overextend, that's a problem because then she can just play with you, like toy with you. So just be careful about it. Get some MR early and should be fine. Um, what do we go next here in this lane? Ornn. Ornn, I would say is. I think it's pretty easy as well, but I think he's actually a lot harder than Malphite. He actually has Q potential on you if he lands. If you take his brittle, take his poke all the time, his empower auto attack brittle. You can use your W to block it, but ideally, you can just space over it and only use your W if he really has the range to hit you with that. His combo of his ultimate can be deadly, but overall you out damaging. Just make sure you're always sidestepping to avoid getting the knockup from his pillar or around the walls, and use your W to block his brittle damage. Just make sure that the brittle debuff lasts longer than your W. So if you use your W, you start walking away immediately. So he doesn't still hit you right after the W field expires. And am I missing something in this row? Poppy, I'll say is even. I think she's actually easier than probably one of the easiest of the even lanes. Like her little field. I forgot what abilities. I think is her W blocks your E, can interrupt your E. So be mindful of that. Don't stay on her Q field. I can use her W to block her passive auto attack, step on her shield to deny her shield, and it should be able to out damage her. Kled, I would say Kled is pretty even as well. I think I'll put in like here. Kled is like the idea you want to use Placer Blade, auto him. You can W one. You can see like his W. He does like a little sound, and he does like extra attack speed and percentage speed damage on his W. You can use your W to block that, and you can just like put him low, and but make sure you're healthy and put him low enough, but not do not try to dismount him. If you have ignite, just poke him and dismount him and wait for your full cooldown. Just walk away to not give him courage, and you can go for all in, use your W because your W is gonna deny him courage, and you can go all in, ignite, you can get kills. But other than that, if you don't have ignite and if you don't have your kit, don't get baited by trying to kill him because if he gets the mount back, he's gonna be able to kill you. You know, and that's a common mistake that I think a lot of players do into Kled. And let's see, Quinn, I'll put her. Of course, I think she's hard. I think she's actually harder than Akshan. She's annoying because she can knock you back, which kind of interrupt your E, your all in a little bit. So it's kind of annoying. Keep your distance, you know, play until level 3. Same thing with the range matchup. But with her, you have to be extra careful when she uses her knockback so you don't waste your engage. So she doesn't punish you for that. And next one, we're gonna go for Pantheon. I would say Pantheon is kind of even. I think he's harder than Aatrox. Actually, I think he's actually harder early even than Fiora. And the thing is, early, what you have to do is you have to space and sidestep a lot of his skill. Don't let him poke you down a lot. And a level 2, you have to respect. He's probably gonna get level 2 before you. You all trade him at the same level if you use your kit proper. When you have W, pay attention to his berry. Usually, what they do, they're gonna try to W when they have the full bar. You can react to that and W him because then after they use their W, they get like basically 3 free auto attacks or something. They attack really fast, but your W can block all of that. If you block all that, boom, you win the lane. That is not even a contest. It's gonna be pretty easy after that. And he's a champion that if he doesn't get a lot of skills in Snowball, he falls off very very hard. So Shen I think does pretty well into him. And Renekton, I'd say it's a pretty easy lane. I think I'll put him like like right here because he still does some damage. He has a lot of base damage, but again, your W blocks his stun here. His W in power damage. Play around that. Bad Renekton's, like first timers Renekton's, they will make it very obvious when they go in and use their W can react to that. But if you see that's Renekton that is very seasoned, he knows how to play the champion. Ideally, you want to W proactively. You know, like you don't want to try to save it when they gonna go. You always wanna you don't wanna react to it. You wanna have make sure you have it because they gonna try to bait you anyway, and then they're gonna go back in. So just do it early, poke, and then disengage and wait for your W again to come back. And if you manage to block the W, you can go all in, and usually you're gonna win. Just respect his level 6. If you don't have some armor, he can be a threat. We're gonna go set. I'd say set's pretty close to theirs. I think it's easier than theirs. I'll treat him the same way as I treated theirs, almost like a range matchup. I only walk up to him when I have W and key barrier. You can block a lot of damage, and you can poke him. And once he is low enough, you can go for all wins. What you have to do here, try to space a lot in and out and bait his E, and that way you can avoid getting stunned or slowed, and you can dodge his W. Through damage is always really important. If you manage to poke him down a little bit and he uses his W, let's say to clear a wave or to try to poke, you can go all in and basically kill him if you're healthy and you have ignite. Um, what are you gonna see next here? We're gonna go for science. Science pretty easy. Um, I'm not gonna put him on free because I think Cyan. I would say I'll put him like here. He's easier than all the other easy lanes, but the thing is about the other tanks that in this lane, I think like he still do some little bit damage early, and he can still kind of outplay you with his knockups and his kit. But he scales really hard, and he can take towers really hard as well. And he also a good team fighter. So you can't leave like a Cyan lane unattended, in my opinion. This is one of the lanes I like to take TP because I think you can deal with him without ignite, and having TP to not let him scale to delay his scaling when you're doing stuff on the map is very important in my opinion. But you're gonna always be able to scale. If you go hard steel and later get some armor and maybe and or Hydra and stuff, like it's never gonna be able to fight you because you're despite it's gonna it skills a lot of HP, but your Q is always gonna do max percent HP. It doesn't matter. So you're gonna always be able to fight him, or even if you can't win, he's not gonna be able to dive or kill you as long as you didn't need to let him like get too much gold lead on you. Honestly, it's almost free game. Honestly, Riven, I'd say she's pretty easy. I would say she's easier than Fiora in my opinion. This is a controversial because I think a lot of people think she's hard, but I think it's same similar issue of Olaf. People don't respect her level 1. Her level 1 does a lot of damage. She can do a lot of damage with her Q and her power attack. So you just space her. You want to use her Q to travel, not to do damage. And by doing that, you just walk in and walk out and force her to start like using her those skills. And once she used them, you hit her back. If you get empowered Q, even better. After you get level 3, you can just all win and trade with her after she wastes her kills, and you always gonna win. And you do that a couple times, you're gonna get some kills. But if you feed the lane and you get baited, she can snowball really hard. She gets higher, she heals a lot, eclipse and an extra shield. She can become a problem. So make sure you get some armor and don't die, but it's pretty okay to deal with. Ringer is actually easy. I would say. I think it's like hard, like right here in difficulty. It can be tricky. It's annoying to fight him like the first 3 levels, even before your first back to get some armor. Because like just avoid the bush, guys. It's easy. If you avoid the bush, let him push farm, he's not going to be able to do anything, and he needs skills to be able to actually be relevant as playing as a ringer top lane. Avoid the bush, get wait for play for a recall, get some armor. Like he's not going to be able to do anything to you, and so as long as you didn't feed him and respect the bush, he's not going to be a threat. um Singe, I would say actually it's pretty easy. I would say I think it's like right here. And the key about Singed is that you always gonna win early. You can like just go in and fight. And here's the trick: like sometimes Singed is gonna try to procs a level 1, and if they manage to do that, it can become a problem. It's gonna be annoying because he has a better wave clearing than you. Now you're losing some CS to tower. He's scaling, then he can mess with your jungle. So a way to do it: don't not leash against Singe. Just don't. Like jungle has Pokemon now, they can deal with it. Just go in and score the first wave, because if they try to prox it, they're gonna lose the fight, because they're gonna take the damage from you and the wave. They're gonna have to either die to you or recall earlier, and then you can like have an advantage. You do that, they're not gonna be able to prox you for a while, and you should be able to win. Do not chase him. Don't, like if your teammates are chasing, ping them back. But if you don't have like you're not losing wave to tower, you can try to kill him if you have like jungle help and stuff, and it's like proxying. But other than that, just don't get baited. And also pay attention when you're gonna ult, because he can interrupt with his ground thing. So just respect that. Other than that, it shouldn't be a problem. And Rumble, it's actually pretty hard, I would say. I think he's harder than Lillia, because the thing is he does a lot of consistent damage and right melee damage. He's annoying, so keeps yourself some space. You win level 3, some all wins there. But he has like a lot of wave clear. You need some MR early, and it shouldn't be a problem. Just don't eat a lot of his skill damage. Like whatever he used to, flame throw or whatever. It's annoying. And let's say what are we gonna go next? Yorick's, I think it's free, but I don't. I think it's like free, like around like here. I would say actually, I would say like it's the hardest of free, and the reason why is because he scales really hard. And once he gets level 6, it's hard to fight him. And if you feed, it can become an impossible task to do yourself. So you might need like jungle help. Like we can communicate to your jungle when he gets level 6. You say, hey, just come over, smite the maiden. If you smite the maiden, kill the maiden, he's useless. You can just walk up to him and kill him. Pre 6, you should always get a bunch of kills. He doesn't have any kill pressure on you. Like you out damaging, just dodge his E and it should be fine. Save your E to not get trapped in a cage and get hit by his um, goals and his damage. You can block his Q with your W. And if you go all in, make sure you can dodge the cage. And this is a lane I like to get Ignite and TP, which is weird, but to me has been working fine, because I feel like I always have the Q pressure to not let him scale really hard. but I also have to TP to make like ultimates without getting scared that he's gonna be able to take the game, you know. And next, I would like to go Vladimir. Vladimir, actually, Vladimir. I think it's an easy matchup, but I think it's, I would say like here, because if he's a good Vladimir, he's gonna keep good distance from your E. Your E early has like shorter cooldown than his pull, so even if he pulls your E, you can come back earlier than that and punish him and use the ignite. You should be able to get some kills. But like you said, if he plays really well, he's gonna like just heal and out sustain you out of lane. So you wanna come get some MR early and shouldn't be a problem. But you should get be able to get some kills or at least not feed him, you know, or not let him free farm. Tankench, I think Tankench is also pretty easy. I would say like around here easy. He has a lot of base damage, but your W can block a lot of his. You block his stun. You can outrade him, go for small trades, walk back. Just respect when you're near his tower, so he doesn't ult you when he's 6. You get some MR. He's not much of a problem. If you have Ignite, you can get some kills early. You know, just go for short trades. Don't go for extended trades. Extended trades is gonna win early because of he's gonna like perma CC you and slow you and he does percent HP damage and he heals. So you wanna always only trade when you have W up. Go in, trade W, walk out. Rinse repeat. And Cassante is actually pretty free, I would say. But I'll put it like, I think it's like that free, I would say. And the only time you have to respect him, I think, is when he gets to his level 6, because he does a lot of damage. But you can block a lot of his damage, his passive damage with your W. And even like what you do, you have to space and dodge his knock up thing, knock up pull thing, and just place your blades proper and can just trade him. I'll win him and stuff like that. Just make sure you dodge the knock up and don't get like free poked, but keep some space in between that until you have your cooldowns. When he gets level 6, you have to be extra careful. Just go for minor trades, but keep your E to disengage if he ults you. And if you poke him long enough and you keep yourself healthy when he's 6, even if he ults you, if you have Ignite, you have your whole kit, if your W, you're gonna mitigate a lot of his passive damage, you should be able to kill him still. And as any more, Trundle is also, I would say, pretty easy. I would guess I'll put him like here. Uh, your W blocks a lot of his block his skill, block a lot of his auto. You should be able to wait, like play, poke him and stuff on first 2 levels, but only commit when you're level 3 because of your W, and then disengage, go short trade. Should be able to put him low over and over and get kills. Not much like, uh, not too complicated there. Volibear is actually pretty easy as well. I think he's a little bit harder than, I guess, Cyan and Tunkench, Jax. Yeah, I'll put him like here, I guess. Like like here, I guess. The thing is, he also has a lot of heal, and he wins extended trades against you because his friend's maul does a lot of damage, but also heals. And you want to keep an eye on your debuff when you have the friend's maul. You don't want to get hit by him again because you're gonna take a lot of damage, but he also gonna heal. Your W can block his stun, so play around that. You can either react to it if he just charges at you, and then you trade back, and then he's a little bit vulnerable after that. Just make sure you respect the passive again, the friend's maul. Or you can just go away, W immediately, so he doesn't stun, and then walk away immediately after you. You do it, rinse and repeat, and you should be able to get some kills. Just make sure you also dodge his E. Don't if he like, make sure you're not getting stunned, because if he combos you with the stun and the shield on top of you and the friend's maul, it can hurt. Like trust me. So as long as you're avoiding that, it shouldn't be a problem. Urgot, I would say Urgot's kind of even. I think he's actually a little bit harder than Fiora, I would say. He does some percentage P of his legs thing. His level 1 is really tough, especially if he goes PTA and start with the knock up, the knock up stun. So if it's a skill matchup, if you dodge his knock up, you win really hard level 1. But if you get hit by it, you're gonna get chunked. Like just avoid that. And once you get W, you can W when he pulls his W, you can block a lot of damage. Trick that works really well against Cho'Gath is just rush a Warden's Mail, and then he's gonna basically do no damage to you for a long time until he gets like Black Cleaver and stuff, and you should be able to get some kills. Just respect his level 6 because his ultimate has an execute, and pretty much play from there. Um, what do we have? Yasu, I would say it's actually pretty even as well. I would say like here, his level 1 is annoying. He has a lot of mobility. He's hard to deal. He has like a little shield. He can also win wall your empowered Q, so you get the normal Q only, but not the empowered Q. So it's pretty annoying sometimes. But you should be able to like just play safely, a little bit safe, just poking, but don't commit on the first levels. Space his Q, and once you get W, you can go for some all wins and disengage, rinse, repeat, and get some kills. Once he gets level 6, I like to save my W when he ults, because when he ults, he gets a 15 seconds of armor penetration bonus. But so if you W after he uses your ultimate, you're gonna mitigate a lot more potential damage from trading with him because he has like all that bonus penetration. Yone, it's similar to Yasuo, but I'll rank like Yone easy. I would say like Yone. I'll put like Yone like that easy here. Level 1, he can be hard and stuff, but then you can use your W to block a lot of his damage. I prefer to save my W when he E's, because then you block all his extra bonus damage from his E, and then you trade back and should win. Don't take extended trade against Little Temple ever. Just go for short trades, disengage, and walk back. Wait for your cooldowns, rinse, repeat, and you should be able to get some kills. And next, what do we have? Timu. Timu is actually hard, man. I'm not even gonna lie. He's actually, I would say, like, I'll put him like here hard. Actually, I think he's harder than. He's annoying. He's blind. If you go all win, sometimes he can lose a trade just because of his blind, especially if he starts kiting you. Uh, this is one of the matchups that I still like Doran's Shield and Second Wind and Rush like something like Mercs to to give you some match resistance and also reduce his blind duration. But you all trade him if you manage to get some all wins after level 3 if you're like full heavy ignite and not fighting a full wave or things like that, and you're healthy. Let's see. Wukong actually is pretty easy. I think it's like I'll put him like that easy, honestly. You're just out damaging. Like your W blocks his Q, like you always gonna out damage your key bearers, sustain a lot of damage. Even when he gets level 6, if you have some armor, he literally can do anything to you, just hit him back. Just make sure you're not like um getting baited by his clone. And sometimes I hit his clone if I see that I can get to him anymore, just to get a grass proc on his clone, and I can also get a proc from his clone as well, Heart Steel proc. Same thing with Science passive, by the way, or any clone in the game, honestly. Vayne, I would say she's actually. I'll put him like she's actually pretty hard. I'll put her like dead hard because she has a lot of true damage. Her recent buffs is kind of annoying, so you have to play really. I usually like. I don't even try to. If she's a actual good Vayne, has two tools to disengage. Right, she has a tumble and she has like the knockback. So I just like play really safe and try to make some ultimates on the map. And I only try to fight her if she plays Loppy under my turret, or if I'm getting jungle help. But otherwise, I just respect her. And Warwick is actually, I'll put like even, but he can be like dead hard. He's actually hardest on the even matchups, I think, because like he can bait you when he's low HP and he heals a lot, and a lot of people get baited by that. But you can block a lot of damage with your W or passive, and you can just go for like poke damage, short trades. Your W can block his ultimate damage, but not the suppression. But you can interrupt his ultimate if you taunt properly. And if you have ignite, you can get some kills on him if you put him low enough and you don't get baited, and you're healthy to fight back. So just don't get baited to extend the trade when he's low HP and you don't have cooldowns. Silas, I would say it's easy, but I think it's like here. he can steal your ultimate and basically react to your ultimate or make plays with your ultimate, which is a very makes him a very versatile pick against Shen. But you should be able to stomp him early. You can just sidestep a lot of his abilities and ignite and kill him. Later on, if you get some MR early, he's never gonna be able to do anything to you if he doesn't get fed. Trendamir is actually I'll put like even, but he's one of the easiest evens in my opinion. It a lot of the lane depends on what happens in the first levels. You know, like if he gets Fury and he gets some lucky crits, or if you can like keep him like hurt at level one, but he if he managed to get some crits on you and put you low, then it's gonna be a problem. Use your W wise and disengage and build some armor early, like plated steel caps really good. Warden's mail is really good here and some HP pool, so he can just dive you. And it should be okay. I generally take ignite against him, and when they try to all enemy, I wait until they ult, and then I wait a little bit longer, then I ignite them, because then even if they kill me, odds are they're gonna be taking tower damage and they still gonna die to the ignite when they try to run away from tower aggro. Any more? I don't see any more picks, right? That's pretty much with any other like range matchups, pretty much like the same thing. The other matchups are mostly mid laners, and so I'm not gonna put anything else. If I'm missing something, please let me know. If you have a feedback or disagree or agree with me, just drop a question or ask me, and I will be happy to discuss this with you. If I miss, like, if you want me to talk about another specific matchup, I will do, and what I would rank it. And that's pretty much it. If you guys like it, please drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time.